boy, oh boy, oh boy. More Three Houses. To be honest, I'm not disappointed in this, only because I did actually want these guys, and I did actually finish the DLC with Ashen Wolves, so this is a bit more fun for me than most of the banners that come out. But I will still provide an objective analysis for you guys to enjoy, so let's do that.
Let the lesson begin.
What's up guys, Akariss here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Heroes video. Today's video is my impressions, reactions, whatever you want to call it, video to the brand new Heroes, brand new banner, permanent banner in Heroes. So with most of these, if not all of these videos now, I do have a structure going forward for that, so I just want to keep you guys in the know-how before we play the video and give you guys my thoughts. So first off, this is just a initial reaction impressions video, so obviously things won't be fully accurate on the meta, or maybe my opinion might change a little bit once I do an analysis, a should you pull video, and the should you pull video will feature both a Patreon poll and a YouTube poll. The YouTube poll might already be up. This is like the seasonal banner for the FE4 banner, which just came up, like the poll for that one, and I love to contrast and get some reasoning and votes on that sort of thing, just to see what you guys think of these banners and pass on that information so you guys can make some good decisions, ideally. But yeah, that's basically that. If you are considering adding your vote into Patreon and providing comments that are also featured in a video or the unit review video, which was yesterday, that's a good idea to get yourself more connected with the community and provide your input. So yeah guys, with that being said, there is going to be quite a few things to cover here. So beyond the banner, we're going to have that new GHB, I believe a focus as well. So yeah, it's going to be a good time, I think. I'm totally okay with more Three House content. I understand the importance of recency bias and the actual profits involved for IS in this regard. So I'm not going to be like, oh no, more Three Houses, boohoo. Like it sells, it works, and people like it. It's clear that's the case. With that being said, smash the like button, sub if you haven't already. Let's do this. I will actually stop the video in, like, you know, moments and whatnot to talk about stats or thoughts on the character's skills and all that. First up is Yuri, which is probably not a surprise because honestly we know what we're getting. He is a colorless dagger infantry, which I believe we didn't even get last year in any way. Like the fact that there were infantry, I might be wrong on that, but I think we literally didn't have a colorless dagger released between CYL 4 and 5, unless Layla was, but again, just going off the top of my head here. As you can see, he comes with C-Dual Infantry 4, Times Pulse, his weapon, Foul Play, Glimmer. We'll talk about the skills in a moment, but we do actually get a glimpse of his stat spread here, and I believe this is 177 VST, which is crazy, I guess, pretty high. That means he doesn't even need the C-Dual skill, but this is crazy. Like, this is like an offensive stat spread, but also has bulk built in. And as we're about to see here in a moment, he is about to use a very unique, not to the game it's unique, but not a surprise what it does, which is he gets to like basically swap from a longer distance and then have Canto built in, which is really cool. As a gimmick, I think that's really cool. The thing here though is it does require an action. So this isn't like Gale Force where you're gonna go in and then foul play out, or foul play a character in and Canto out. I think that is its best usage though. As a support unit, you basically have somebody maybe sniping, and then Yuri uses foul play to get that unit out of danger, and then Cantos himself out. That's probably the best practical use I can see for foul play on an initial impression. As you can see here, it says range 3, so it's not like the full map, but it is pretty good. It's actually a solid distance, so I feel like he's going to act a little bit like a dancer and really help with like the hit and run strategies, which plays well into safety fence, guys. Safety fence has been a very impactful, good building. I feel I will feature more footage here on the channel showing you like best uses of safety fence, but it definitely has made my legendary Sigurd experience much more comfortable, and I'm sure plenty of you want to see that. Anyways, again, no surprise. Kanto, foul play. C-Duel, this is all stuff that we kind of could have seen coming. His weapon is a slaying weapon. He has 3 movement, basically. At start of turn, he gets 1 extra movement space. So he is basically like Brave Alm in this regard. He just gets extra movement. But it does play well into the whole foul play and hit and run kind of aspect. Having a ranged infantry with Kanto is very unique. And on top of that, he does have extra attack and speed, which is whatever. But yeah, this is an example of a unit that likely will have a fairly strong, indefinite gimmick in terms of how long it'll last, how good it'll be. And, you know, both Kanto and foul play, I feel, will make him last a very long time. The fact that he also reaches 180 BST but doesn't need the C-Duel, it makes him a pretty solid arena unit. And of course, I'm sure foul play itself scores well. It's probably like the same as like Change Fate or Future Vision. If there was a unit that probably deserved a longer analysis in the upcoming Should You Pull video, it probably might end up being Yuri instead of Múspell at the end, to be totally honest with you guys. Because this guy is very impactful. As a one-off, he has some good support in AR, but as a +10, he's probably going to make your arena experience a lot easier. Although 180 scoring isn't like super amazing, I feel like that's...
Step aside.
You probably want something like 190, like a dual unit, or even 195, which will be coming pretty soon. But nonetheless, it's cool. It's cool mechanics. I love new mechanics. Constance, red tone flyer. Whatever. I mean, red tone flyer is just whatever as a sort of like place right now. I don't feel like you really want that anywhere, really, but we'll take a look at Constance and talk about it. Harsh Command Plus for Arena Inherit, attack speed push 4, which is generally just a very good A skill. Far Trace, finally, not only is this a new type of Far Trace, attack speed, but it's also in the permanent pool, finally. We finally have Far Trace in the perma pool, which is very good. Of course, locked to cavalry and flyers, but nonetheless still really good. Speed Res Rhine, also good. The weapon she has is just a within 2 spaces or initiate combat condition. Gives her extra attack and speed, and then plays into her like night and day or indoors outdoors type of mechanic from 3 houses, which is she will on odd turns disable bonuses on foes of speed and res, and then on even I think I mixed that up. I think it's even turns. No, I didn't. Even turns, she neutralizes her own penalties to attack and speed. Odd number turns, she disables bonuses of enemies. Just basically working in a way that helps her do more damage. And finally, she does seem to have a self null follow-up effect. Again, it feels like we have a trend of I don't like Fallen Edelgard, everyone must kill Fallen Edelgard. That trend seems to continue here. Oh yeah, and her stat spread. So again, a very offensive-oriented stat spread with res being the probably like the higher stat here. But yeah, that's no surprise considering attack, speed push, speed res Ryan, whatnot her kit. Next up is Hapi.
People keep their distance from me. It's easier.
That doesn't look like a smile to me. Blue tone Cav, which is a very competitive area to be in. As we know, we have stuff like Selena and Reinhardt in the game, so if you're a blue tone Cav, you're almost cursed to be that unit. But that's a pretty stacked weapon, so probably not. We have another weapon with effective against dragons and beasts, so that's good. And as I said, everyone seems to just want to trash on Fallen Edelgard, which, to be honest, is unnecessary at this point. But anyways, she has slaying in the weapon and a times pulse effect. So that's, for Cavs, that's really good. And it does mean that she basically pre-charges stuff like Glimmer, Ruptured Sky, and Moonbow, which, again, plays into the whole, like, kill all beasts and dragons. Yeah, it's pretty solid. I think she will find her place, although I don't know if it's going to be competitive with something like Reinhardt or Selena, since both Selena and Reinhardt both have very good effects. Rein being double with, you know, bulk and good attack stat. Selena running wind sweep with no follow-up and just no follow-up in general to kill through a lot of things that have denials of follow-ups. So both of them are very powerful, but you know, Hapi should find a place, I think, considering the power of that weapon, the insta special, extra damage of course, and just good weapon. Good weapon. Anti-beast, anti-dragons. Anti-beast in particular for you guys who don't want to deal with Fallen Idol, but I don't feel it's necessary at this point, really. Okay, anyways, attack res catch is new. The catch skills are very strong, actually. They're not that difficult to make conditions for, both on offense and defense if you set them up properly. And far trace again in the permanent pool, and this one's actually pretty good. It's attack res far trace, so I love to see it. I'd love to not see seasonal skills like completely locked behind arbitrary seasonal banners. Like, we finally have them. We're still missing far save in the promo pool, but that's okay. I'm okay with not seeing that one. Anyways, Hapi has a stat spread that's very like I'd say this one was pretty predictable. Low speed and defense, high attack and res. That does mean that she is kind of in sort of a stat spread that's similar to Reinhardt without the defense, but her high attack does lend really well to effective damage. High res is just whatever, but you could always bump that sort of thing up. I mean, like, defense and speed. Why not?
The nature of everything is to burn. Char the flesh.
Alright, so we have Múspell, which, no surprise because he just was the Tempest Trials unit. But now we get to see his preference weapon and his kit released to us. And there's some really nice goodies here. So Flame-like Breath is basically just Fatal Smoke in the weapon, as opposed to Niffle, which had Flash. That's basically it, with all the extra, like, I get extra stats and easy condition to meet. That's all. We get a Rally Up attack for Arena Fodder, I guess. Or AR if you use Rally Traps. ARD Defense Res 4 is new. We did get attack speed. Defense Res 4 is actually pretty good depending on the units you give this to. I do think it's either used in a way to bump up defense and res even further, could help out something like far save or near save units, or you give it to a unit that has a very good offensive stat spread but it's lacking in defense and res, and therefore you're able to bump that to create a very balanced, powerful stat spread. Finally, Dragon Wall is finally here in the permanent pool. I don't think Syros was necessarily worth merging and keeping anyways, beyond just an initial copy, because she will likely get replaced. But this is a good reason to potentially merge Syros now and not worry about Dragon Wall fodder, because you could spark 40 summons here for this Dragon Wall, or it's in the permanent pool. So either way, Syros, I mean, has more of a reason to be merged up now, but she likely won't be a very good anima hero in the long term, especially very soon. Finally, his Domain of Flame effect is again a sort of I am more powerful and my allies within 2 ranges, like a drive effect, is more powerful. Niffles was 30% damage reduction, and just to make this as simple as possible for you guys, basically this gives a joint drive attack and defense effect. So attack and defense plus 4, and then it checks the difference between the ally's attack stat and the enemy's res stat and takes the 30% difference there and adds it as additional damage. So that is good actually as a supportive unit. Like, where Niffle was providing damage reduction, which was already kind of in the game through Flame, and in my opinion I probably would prefer Flame, this one essentially makes your units stronger by checking the attack versus enemy res stat. So it's kind of like a sorcery blade sort of effect, but within a drive, and less, it checks a little bit less, like 30%. So it's still very strong, and I could definitely see quite a few units using this. So probably in the should you poll analysis video, I'll likely be covering Múspell and like his supportive options, who he could be best paired with to really give yourself success. But I was very interested by Yuri as well in the beginning, so maybe I'll do both in the upcoming Should You Pull video. Honestly, let me know in the comments below whether you like are interested in like the effect of Domain of Flame and Yuri's potential, because I'll try to do both, maybe if I have enough time to produce that sort of thing for you guys. Okay, and I think that basically covers it except Balthus. Yeah, there is Balthus. So we're getting a 5-star free Balthus, and then he's going to be thrown into the 3 and 4-star pool. I gotta say I'm disappointed he's a colorless. I mean, he's not a colorless. The fact that he's a green axe and not like, let's say, a colorless like fist unit or something, because he should be. He should be. But this is a very disappointing demote. We already have a lot of green axe infantries, and he's just thrown into the pool without any focus, so you can't even necessarily target him. He's just gonna randomly show up as you're pulling green, which is just whatever. He likely will score 185 for Arena. That is worth mentioning here, but the problem is it's gonna be really difficult to accrue copies of him, like really difficult. For like the free summons and the tickets, like red will provide some pretty solid value, but I will cover that in the Should You Pull video. And I believe his weapon is Instant Axe, which is a axe with a sturdy impact effect, not like attack defense 4, and doesn't allow the enemy to double, so whatever. Alright guys, so for me personally, before we go into the Should You Pull like section of the next video coming up, again, be sure to vote if you haven't. There will be a YouTube poll coming up, if not already. I'm personally just going to summon red for some fodder and call it a day here. No spark for me. They're in the permanent pool at the end of the day. Alright guys, I believe the GHB will also be covered in a later video, but that's it. Yeah, I am going to get out of here, and again, smash the like button, sub if you haven't already. If you love this content and you want to support it in the best way possible, Patreon is in the description. Love you guys. See you in the next one. Peace.
It's over.